Welcome back into the Dynasty lunch break, June 13th, 2024. Guys, we've got so many cool things planned for the show today. And of course, on the day where we have the most cool things planned, what do we have? Tech problem. It always happens. It always happens. There's a tech problem of some sort. For some reason, the good camera is not communicating with OBS. Not sure why. So that's why we got backups. We got backup plans that we can make work. And in fact, actually, let's even open up the curtains, get some more light in here. Here we go. Oh yeah, now we're cooking with peanut oil, baby. All right, so we've got tons of fun things planned for the show today. Like I mentioned, man, I don't even know what to get into first. We have a few things. First, I want to announce. I'll say this first. We do have an entry to the Scott Fishbowl to give away. That's right, an entry into the Scott Fishbowl, and we'll talk about how to do that. We'll talk about how to do that during the show. Should be very, very fun. Should be very drama filled. We have, of course, me hanging out with you guys, talking, answering questions. Of course, we have that. Always have that. But then we also have a sneak peek into something that I've been working on, a little side hustle, a little side project that I've been pretty excited about. And it's something that's going to change the Nerd Score forever. Now, for those of you that are like, wait, I love the Nerd Score, why are you changing it? The Nerd Score itself is going to stay the same. But there's something in addition to it that's going to make it even better. And I'm going to give you guys a small glimpse. Can't give you the full thing. First of all, it's going to be for Nerd Herd members, so you'd have to be part of the Nerd Herd. But second of all, it is going to be, it's not quite ready, not quite finished, not quite good to go just yet. But I am very excited to talk to you guys about that. So, the Equinox is here. Cade is here. Dubs Win is here. Am I getting that right? Adoombi? I think so. Is here. Joel's here. Hitman's here. Adam's here. Dubs Win says, what draft position do you like most from SFB, especially with the third round reversal? I selected a late spot. I think I'm in the 11 spot. I do kind of like later on in the draft this year. Plus, I think some people are choosing a different strategy than I would choose this year. So because of that, I feel like there's a slight edge towards the end because of that. But we'll have to wait and see. It is definitely going to be fun, definitely going to be interesting. And one of you guys are going to get to be a part of it. Maybe even multiple of you guys, because there's a lot of ways to get in with us. We have 8 spots. We have 8 spots to give away. Just one of those is being given away on the show. The rest, you actually go listen to the Dynasty Nerds episode today. If you have not listened to it, I explain all the different ways that you can get in on that, be a part of that, get your ticket punched into the Scott Fishbowl. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that as the show goes on. I have a few different ideas, but one that I'm narrowing down on, because I don't want it to just be like, I'm just going to give it away to you. Like, I'm leaning towards some type of trivia question. First one to get it in the chat, maybe. We'll see. All right. Lots of other guys here. Greg's here. Jim's here. Michael's here. Christopher's here. He asks, would you trade Kendre Miller and Jaleel McLaughlin for Zach Moss if you're more of a win now team? Yes, I would. I actually do like Zach Moss this year. I think Chase Brown's going to be involved. I'm not under any illusion that he's going to be getting all of the work and all of the touches. But I do think that he's going to be involved. I think he's going to be part of what's going on. So, yes. But I think I would much rather, as a win now team, have a guy that I am convinced is going to be the lead back for most, if not all, of the season, versus a guy that I'm hoping gets the opportunity to do it. So that's the two different things. Jordan, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Last thing, I mentioned it at the end of the episode last week. It's also My birthday today. That's right. 34 years old today. But I felt guilty canceling on you guys on my birthday. Look, I could have easily been like, no, I'm going to go out to lunch and, all that kind of stuff. And I was talking with Jared and I was like, look, I love these guys too much. I enjoy hanging out with them too much. I can't go this Thursday when I'm free and I'm available and not hang out with them. So that's what makes today even just a little bit more exciting, a little bit more going on. So, yes, it is a fun day overall. Man, I'm chomping at the bit to show you guys this thing that I've been working on. But I feel like I got to drag it out. I feel like I can't just show you right away. This is like the big thing. And show you guys at the beginning of the show would just feel a little bit wrong. Last thing that I did not announce that we were doing today is I'm still going to be answering your questions, and I see a couple in there that I'll get to as well. But I also want to play a little game today, one that we have not played on here yet. It'll be a little bit of a guessing game. You're going to have to keep score at home. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to keep score of how many have 30-some people watching. I'm not going to be able to keep score for everybody. So you'll have to keep scoring your own, be honest, no cheating. But it'll be a fun little game that we'll get to play together as well. Dubs Win says, your name is Garrett and mine is Wilson. Hashtag Jets. It's Garrett Wilson. Gotta love that. Got to love that. Faith, Family, and Fantasy Football says, you're still a pup. I've been playing fantasy football almost as long as you've been alive. That is true, man. That is true. Depending on some of these kids hop on here and think I'm a boomer, while others are like, man, you're still so young. Still got so much time. So it is kind of fun to see the different perspectives on it. I see kids on here that are 20 years old, 19 years old, doing fantasy football analysis, and then there's guys like Rich, old fogies. I love to give them a hard time. Couple of the questions. Jordan says, in a non-tight end super flex league, how would you construct your roster? Do I have too much tight end value with McBride, Bowers, Ingram, and some rookie tight ends? If it's a non-super flex, I still want to have a good tight end, but I'm not prioritizing my tight end too nearly as high, just because honestly I don't roster, if it's not a tight end premium especially, I'm not rostering a ton of tight ends. I'll usually roster my main guy, a solid backup, and then a like young upside guy that could ascend. So usually I'm looking at 3 roster spots. If it's a huge roster, then maybe I'll do 4 roster spots at a tight end. But I'm trying to, and that's not 100% of my rosters, but that's the way I'm trending with most of my teams, where I'm trying to kind of cut down on that because I would much rather have running backs and quarterbacks in those spots, simply because in those spots, once you get a starting quarterback, they have so much value. Even if they only have the starting job for a few weeks, teams get desperate for somebody. All of a sudden, you can turn that guy into second-round pick, third-round pick, get you extra draft capital. Running back, same type of thing. They get those jobs for short-term windows, sometimes even long-term windows. So I'd much rather have a backup quarterback, backup running back in that type of situation. Cody said, someone sent me an offer for Gibbs. Should I? They offered Diggs a 25 first and 2 26 first. Should I accept? I love Gibbs too much to be excited to trade him. It's a good offer. 3 firsts and Stephon Diggs. Cody, where do you expect those picks to be? Because, yeah, I don't know. It depends. If we're looking at like early to mid, that's a really good offer. If all those are late, makes it a lot less tempting. Joel says, we're men. Our B-days don't matter after 21. That is super true. That's why I'm here. Because I'm like, look, it's just another day. I'd rather be here with you guys hanging out. And don't get me wrong, I'll go have a nice dinner with the wife later and things like that. But, that's about it. It's not like we're throwing parties. It's not like we're going crazy. It's not one of those like monumental, 30s, 40s, things like that. No, it's just 34. Just kind of entering the mid-30s range now. Nothing too exciting. So, yeah, I'm with you, Joel. Birthday's just a slightly better regular day where you get to pick where you get for dinner. Hitman said, would you trade Benson, Brooks? Oh, what would you? Oh, so sorry. I read it wrong. Hitman says, would you trade JT for Benson, Brooks, and a 25 first? This would solely be a contender versus rebuild. But even in a contender, I'm still considering that offer. That's a really good offer. Basically, you're looking at 2 firsts and a second for Jonathan Taylor, and 2 of those running backs I think are guys that could be very good. So I would probably accept that in a vacuum. And basically anything other than an absolutely true full rebuild, I'm accepting that. I think that's a really good offer. Let's see. Some happy birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys. Be Different Fitness and Nutrition. He said he's here too. What's up? Sedated Fork said, sorry I'm late. Was helping Wackerly move. I'm sure Jay Wack appreciates the moving help. Bennett Allen says, I'm win now and got offered an early second next year and Burton for Godwin. He's my wide receiver 5 or 6. I'd hesitate to give up Godwin in a win now. But if you have that kind of depth, I have no problem cashing in for the future, and I like Burton. In an early second could be nice. So I think that's a fair trade overall. Dubswin said, I've seen people in Superflex mocks take tight end with their first 3 picks. The tight end scoring isn't that great this year compared to some of the other stuff. Wackerly did a nice little analysis for me. Guys that would be in the top 10 of last year's if it was scoring the same this year. If this year's scoring was last year, what would it turn out like? Only 2 guys finished as top 10 at the tight end position, and there were only, I believe, 6 in the top 50. So I would hesitate to do that personally. Let's see what else we got. Adele. I don't know if that's your name or not, or if I'm just cutting off the handle at a weird spot, but was good, buddy. The Equinox says was offered in a 12-team Superflex league. It's a contender / middle. Get Chase, but give up Waddle in 2 seconds. Other wide receivers: Rice, Mims, Roman Wilson, and Burton. I would probably do that. Seconds aren't going to keep me off of a guy like Chase. I like Waddle a lot, but Chase is a different tier, so I will take Jamar Chase. Joseph, I'm in a Superflex tight end premium Dynasty league. I have Kincaid, Njoku, Pat Freiermuth. Should I keep all 3 or try to move one? I would probably try to move one. I don't want to move Kincaid. I want to hold on to him in a Superflex tight end premium, but I would be looking to move Pat Freiermuth or Njoku. Either one. Probably Njoku just because he kind of has more value right now. And most weeks you're going to be starting Kincaid anyway. Be Different says 12-team Superflex tight end premium start 9. Contender with a surplus of running backs. Should I try to upgrade at wide receiver or quarterback or keep some running back depth? If so, who should I target? I'm never against moving running backs to get some better established positions. But you also got to make sure that you aren't selling at a discount just because you have a surplus. If you have Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, and Devon Achane, I'm not selling any of those guys at a discount. If you want one of those guys, I'm willing to give them to you for a fair price for a wide receiver, for a quarterback. So let's say it's, Devon Achane that you decide that you want to move. I'd move Kyron Williams personally if that was the scenario, but I'm just making this up as I go. So if it's Devon Achane, let's say, then you come and say, okay, I'll do that for Kyler Murray. I'll do that for Brock Purdy. I'll do that for, somebody like that. I think that's a great move. If it's wide receiver, okay, I'll do it for Michael Pittman Jr. I'll do it for Jalen Waddle. I'll do it for those kind of players. So that would be the move that I would be looking to make. Faith Family Fantasy Football, which I love that handle, by the way. Most of you guys know that I'm a born-again believer, that I love Jesus with my entire heart, and so I love seeing stuff like that. He says, it is my Pittsburgh home league, and it's the 30th anniversary. When did that transfer from, or is it still, maybe it's still a redraft league, but when did it go from redraft to Dynasty? I'd be curious to see how long it's been a Dynasty, but 30 years, that's amazing. My longest league is going into year 12. We're going into year 12 this year, so pretty cool. Have you ever made a trade? Let me get to Cody's first. Probably late first if I had to guess. I don't love it as much then. I need at least one of those to be an early pick. Sedated Fork says, have you ever made a trade and instantly regret it? Happened to me this week. Traded Caleb away for essentially Pittman and Romo Dunze in a startup. Yeah, I would rather have Caleb Williams. Unless it's only one QB, but I'm assuming it's super flex, and yeah, I'd rather have Caleb. But we've all been there. We make a trade, and then we're like, why did I make that trade? That made no sense. Sometimes we just want to trade. Christopher Sim says, I know all the nerds have been pretty high on Javonte. Do you have any concerns with the sleeper update today saying that McLaughlin is playing as the one currently? Also, happy birthday, homie. We actually talk about Javonte Williams tomorrow's show. We talk about him a little bit, and he's one of my boom bust guys. I think he has some of the highest upside. I think he has some of the biggest bust potential. That blurb was from this dude that always just has hot takes. If it's the same blurb that I saw, maybe it's a different one. But a guy that's kind of known to he's a Denver beat guy, but just throws out hot takes, and some of them stick, some of them don't. So I wouldn't be putting too much into that personally. But it is a team where stuff's up for grabs. I still think it's Javonte's job to win or lose. But you never know. You never know, especially with a guy like Sean Payton. But Javonte had a lot of carries last year, 217 carries. And they didn't add anybody huge of note. Audric Estime is the biggest one, a 5th-round pick. So I would have a hard time seeing his carry count just drastically drop out of nowhere. Let's see. Christopher. Oh, yeah. So Brandon said, I got a trade offer. I would receive Love and Amon-Ra for Stroud and Diggs. Should I accept that trade? Instantly, you should accept that trade. I love Stroud, but I think he is a little bit overrated at the moment, as high as I am on him. I don't think him and Love are drastically different. I would rather have Stroud, but I don't think it's drastic. But the difference between Amon-Ra and Diggs is huge. So I would much rather have Love and Amon-Ra. Dubswin said the Northwestern helmet looks game used in the background. So it is a Northwestern helmet, but not the one you think. So this is actually my high school football helmet that we have here. And so, yes, it is game used. Played at a high school called Northwestern High School here in Northeast Ohio. And then I don't have my college helmet, but I played college football then at Malone University, which is where we have the Last Pioneer. The Last Pioneer, because they canceled the football program about 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago. And Ashton Doolin, who plays for the Colts, great special teamer, wide receiver, currently on, I think he was a Pro Bowl special teamer even. He was in the final class right before they canned the football program. So he's kind of now forever known as the Last Pioneer, because we were the Mullen Pioneers. Michael T saying smash accept the Love deal. Absolutely. Powerful, sell Bellinger now, or does he gain more value if we let him marinate? What's a good price to accept? If I'm selling him, I want at least a late second. If I can get that, cool. If not, I'll wait till I can, because I think he's going to gain a little bit of value as it gets closer to the season. but I'm also not convinced that passing game is good enough for him to be elite. And so he's, best case scenario, probably just going to fall into that tight end 10 to 15 range where they just don't make much of a difference. So I'm looking to get a late second. Whenever I think I can get that, that's when I'm doing it. Let's see. We've got, what's McBride plus Tila or Hurts plus Hawkinson? For me, it's easily Hurts plus Hawkinson. I'll bridge that gap of time. I am not convinced at all that McBride is going to be a better tight end than Hawkinson on a points per game basis. Hawkinson was the best tight end for most of the year last year. So I would take the Hawkinson Hurts side personally. Dubs win. How is A-Chain my A-Train? And Garrett is a big fan of Javonte. That is very true. I am a big Javonte Williams guy. But I acknowledge there's a lot of risk with him right now. Anytime you have that significant of an injury, there's always risk. He's got to return to what he looked like as a rookie. If not, what he did last year just wasn't good enough. And so I loved him as a rookie. He was putting up fantastic numbers for not being the full-time running back. Had he been the full-time back, he would have had he had 900 yards as a rookie, sharing time with freaking Melvin Gordon. He should have been getting all the touches from week one. Jeremy Collins, I have Daniel Jones and Derek Carr, Minshew, O'Connell at quarterback, 2-quarterback league, probably not in a winning mode. Nerds app shows me at 11th overall. Should I trade Justin Jefferson for Nix, Penix, plus a rookie wide receiver? I would need a lot more certainty than Nix and Penix. Basically, it's you're trading Justin Jefferson for 2 second-round picks and a rookie wide receiver. Now, if that rookie wide receiver is Marvin Harrison Jr., that's closer, and I would consider that. But anything outside of that, I'm probably not doing it. What wide receiver would you target in exchange for McBride? If I'm gonna sell Trey McBride, well, here, let me go to my trusty rankings here. DynastyNerds.com. I'm gonna do some jingles for Dynasty Nerds. It's gonna be pretty great. So let me see who I have in a similar range. I can tell you who I think off the top of my head, but I'm curious how I have this ranked. And let's do Superflex tight end premium, all players. All right. I would say guys that I would be targeting: Drake London, Puka Nacua, which I don't think you'll get him. People are higher on him than I am. Rome Odunze. Let's see. Who else do I have? Devonta Smith. Those would be guys that I would probably be targeting. Brandon Ayuk, Olave. Those would be guys that I would be targeting for Trey McBride. All right. Now is the time of the show. I am not, Lucas, I will not be at the Scott Fishbowl draft in Cleveland this year. I was originally going to be out of town. I'm not anymore. That'll be at the end of July. So I would love to be there, but I will unfortunately not get to be at the one in Cleveland. All right. Now is the time where I'm going to give away the Scott Fishbowl entry. All right. Scott Fishbowl entry. Here's how it's going to work. I am going to give you a trivia question. The first answer that shows up in the chat. Now, you might want to make sure that you're live at the moment, because sometimes your thing can get a little bit behind. So I'm going to stall for a second, give you a chance to get back up to live if you're not already, because I don't want anyone to not have a fair shake. To not have a fair shake at getting this trivia question. All right? Here it is. All right? I'm stalling as long as I can to make sure everyone gets a chance to get caught up. All right? Here we go. The trivia question. First answer I see in the chat that is correct wins. Now, please only guess once. Please only guess once. Don't spam it. If you spam it, even if you get one of the right answers, I'm not going to count it. So you get one guess. All right? About 3 years ago, in a Dynasty Nerds episode, Rich Dotson talked about Josh Allen and said that he was an Elton John song because he was Rocket Man. I talked about a different player and said, no, this guy is an Elton John song. What was that other player? If nobody can get it based off that, I'll give away what song the Elton John song was, and that will hopefully help give it away. So what player did I say was an Elton John song? All right, I'm watching the chat. I'm watching the chat right now. First one that I see is the correct answer. I'll say this as well. They play the same position. Lucas says, great deep cut question. Yeah, I wasn't giving it easy. This isn't a layup. This is tough. This is a tough one. This was like 3 years ago. Dequinox says that's tough. No one yet. I know the song, but not the player. Jordan says Herbert. That is not correct. He said, I remember you mentioning it, but it's gone from my memory. Daniel Jones. No, that is not correct. Steve says, I wish I subbed more than a year ago. Mitch Trubisky. Oh, we've got it. Oh, one came in just before the other. A.Y. Copel won. Kyler Murray. We said, I was talking about Kyler Murray right after we talked about Josh Allen. And he said, we can't talk about Kyler Murray. He is not an Elton John song. And I said, oh, yes, he is. Tiny Dancer. And so it was Kyler Murray. Spenny, you were so close. You came in literally milliseconds after A.Y. Copel won. So A.Y. Copel won. Congratulations. You get the spot into the Scott Fishbowl. Shoot me a direct message at Dynasty Price on Twitter, and I will get you hooked up with who I need to get you hooked up with. So appreciate you guys. Yep, Kyler Murray. Sedated Fork says, I remember the episode, but not the quarterback. Yes, Tiny Dancer, Kyler Murray. Congrats, man. Welcome to the Scott Fish. That was a deep cut. Spenny says, oh, man, mine showed up first on mine. I know, man. Yours will show up as soon on your end as soon as you type it, but it won't come to mine until it comes through. So, man, A.Y. Coppola says, does not have a Twitter. Okay, shoot me an email, Garrett@dynastynerds.com. Shoot me an email, Garrett@dynastynerds.com. We might not get to it right away, but we'll be wrapping all these up by Tuesday the 18th of next week. But guys, if you did not get in, then there are still 7 opportunities just with Dynasty Nerds to get into the Scott Fishbowl. 7. So lots of opportunities still to get into the Scott Fishbowl. If you listen to the episode this morning, you're aware of it. But if not, you can also email me, Garrett@dynastynerds.com, with potentially up to 3 things, which would get you 3 possible chances at getting one of these spots. One of them is sending a review. All right. Take a screenshot of you sending in a podcast review on Apple Pods, and that will get you one possible chance at getting in. Second one, same email. Do it in the same email. Send a screenshot of you being subscribed to our YouTube channel. I'm guessing most of you are, but if you're here, double check. Sometimes you get on here and you think you're subscribed to something and you're actually not. So double check that you are actually subscribed. All right. Yes, there is only one T in Garrett. Thank you, Lucas. Yes, show that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Last one, send a picture of you in a Dynasty Nerd shirt. If you have purchased a Dynasty Nerd shirt before, take a picture, or if you already have a picture, send a picture of you in a Dynasty Nerd shirt. That will get you an additional entry as well. So 2 of them, if you haven't done them already, you can do right now, and you can get 2 entries. For those that have been with us for a minute and have been hardcore followers, have a t-shirt, you'll get a chance at kind of an extra entry there to thank you for your loyalty to Dynasty Nerds over the years. Whew. All right, man. That was fun. That was fun. I love going back and talking about like old deep cuts. We might have to have like a deep cuts trivia day on the live show. See how well everyone does remembering old Dynasty Nerds episodes, jokes, things like that from the show. I think that would be fun. I think that would be a fun time. See how well everybody does. All right, we are at 12:30. I think it is. I think it's time to play that game that I was talking about. So we are going to play a game, and we're going to play a Dynasty Nerds ADP game. Now, it's going to be a little bit different than some of the things we've done before. I'm going to give you a player, all right? And we're going to call this game over-under. Over-under. I'm going to give you the ADP in Superflex, tight end premium. Appreciate that, man. Faith Family Fantasy Football, love having lunch with you every Thursday. Thanks and blessings in Christ Jesus. Dude, love it, man. Absolutely. My guy, Bluey, Jacob Parker, what's up, man? You just missed the SFB giveaway. There's more opportunities, but you did just miss the SFB giveaway. So I'm so sorry you missed that. But just in time for our game and our sneak peek at a little extra tool that is going to be coming to Dynasty Nerds soon. And it has something to do with the good old nerd score. That's right. It has something to do with the nerd score. So but this game here. So I'm going to give you a player. This is Superflex, tight end premium. Superflex, tight end premium. And I'm going to give you the ADP of a player. You tell me if his ADP is over that. So over will be like if his ADP was 3 and you said, 5. So that would be incorrect. His ADP is under 5. Yeah, that made sense what I said, right? I think so. All right. So over, under will be closer to 1. Over will be closer to 1,000. All right. I guess not closer, but you get what I mean. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go with the first one here. Running back, Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne. ADP of 45 overall. ADP of 45 overall. Is it over or under ADP 45 overall? And you get score at home. I can't keep track of everybody's points for you. Score at home. And the Nerds' most recent ADP. Travis Etienne, over, under. ADP of, what did I say, 45? 45. All right, we've got 3 undervotes, an overvote, another under. Sedated Fork saying over. Mostly unders is what we're getting so far. ADP of 45. ADP of 45. All right. His ADP is currently 40.25. All right. So if you said under, give yourself a point. Give yourself a point at home there. Under. He is at 40.25. All right. Next one here. Let's do Ramondre Stevenson. ADP of 83. ADP of 83. Is his ADP over or under 83? Ramondre Stevenson. 83. Over or under. This is super flex, tight end premium. Super flex, tight end premium. Yeah, this doesn't have to be how you would rank them. Not where you would draft them. ADP of 83 for Ramondre Stevenson. Is it over or under 83? Got a lot of overs on this one. Patrick saying, I got to bounce. 5:35 p.m. in the UK. Got to go fetch the boy. Appreciate you, man. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Patrick. Genuinely appreciate you hanging out, dude. All right, we've got a lot of overs on this one. John's going with exactly 83. No unders so far. Oh, no, wait. D Equinox did say under. All right, so we've got one under. Everybody else is over at this point. Ramondre Stevenson, his ADP is 88.7, so he is over 83. So far, you guys are doing good. So far, you're doing well. Make sure you're keeping track of your points at home. All right, next one here. Trevor Lawrence with an ADP of 25. ADP of 25. Over or under Trevor Lawrence, ADP of 25. Trevor Lawrence, former first overall pick. Yeah, D Equinox, you could have picked up a nice lead on everyone there. It's worth the risk. If literally everyone's going that way, you might as well zig while they're zagging, give you an opportunity to get ahead there. So I don't blame you one bit. Good game theory. All right. Over or under 25 for Trevor Lawrence ADP. Over, under 25. Ooh, it's pretty split right now. Pretty split right now. Most recently, we're seeing more unders, but it's pretty even. Ooh, we got a couple overs coming in. Ooh, this is close. Looks like slightly more on the over. Slightly more on the over now. Over, under. ADP of 25 for Trevor Lawrence. Over or under? Close. Close. Reminder, 7 opportunities still to get yourself a Scott Fishbowl entry. Email me, Garrett@dynastynerds.com. Podcast review. Make sure you're subscribed. Screenshots of both those things and a picture of you wearing a Dynasty Nerds t-shirt. Each of those things will get you an extra entry into the Scott Fishbowl. All right. The ADP for Trevor Lawrence on one where we were pretty split on. The number was at 25. His ADP is under at 22.6. 22.6. So we've got the under that hit for Trevor Lawrence. The under that hit. Ryan saying, just to let you know, the volume is kind of low. I don't know. I just joined your live. I appreciate you telling me that, Ryan. I don't know. I haven't heard that from other people. And on my end, it looks pretty close, but maybe not. Maybe it is a little bit low. So maybe I'll see if I can adjust it slightly. Let's see, maybe that'll be a little bit better, hopefully. We'll have to see. All right, so Trevor Lawrence, he was at 22.6, so under on Trevor Lawrence. Let's get to the next one here. Next guy, ADP-wise. Let's go to Marquise Brown. Marquise Hollywood Brown, wide receiver, now of Kansas City. ADP of 110. 110. Over or under an ADP of 110 for Marquise Hollywood Brown. Chris, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. It is lunchtime, and pretty soon here, I'm going to be giving you guys an exclusive sneak peek into what I've been working on, something that's going to only enhance what we're doing with the Nerd Score. So, over under 110 for Marquise Hollywood Brown on ADP. Got mostly unders, a few overs. I hope it's starting to even up now. Another one where it's very close. Make sure you're keeping score at home. Over, under. Over, under. 110 ADP for Marquise Hollywood Brown. Over or under. All right, give you guys just a tiny bit more over under for ADP on Hollywood Brown. And Marquise Hollywood Brown, his ADP is over at 113.5, over 110. Over 110 for Marquise Hollywood Brown. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we will get into the big reveal. That's right. Get into the big reveal. All right. Let's go with rookie Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks. Over under 62. Over under 62 for his ADP. Over or under? Over under 62. Max said, rookie draft coming up. I'm rebuilding. Have the 101, 201, 203, 207, and 210. I'm looking at loading up at wide receiver and running back. How heavy do you weigh Nerd Score versus draft ranking? Example, Xavier Legette, AD, and Ricky Pearsall. The Nerd Score is meant to be, and that's funny because we're literally just about to talk about this, so you came in at the perfect time. Nerd Score is meant to tell you exactly how we feel about the player as a raw prospect. Now, where that weighs in heavily to me, but that is not the only thing. So for me, in those situations, it would go Legette, Pearsall, AD, even though AD was the first one Nerd Score wise, just because that situation, I don't love the situation. I don't love that he fell in the draft a little bit, not far, but he did fall in the draft a little bit. So I'm taking Legette and Pearsall slightly ahead of him. It's close. It's not like it's a slam dunk, but I am taking them slightly ahead of him. So reminder on this one, 62 for Jonathan Brooks, over or under? Over or under on Jonathan Brooks? Mostly got overs here. We have a few unders. We have a few unders of 62, but mostly overs at the moment. Mostly overs. Watch your video of down tearing from Jalen Hurts. Keep 3, trade 1. Kyler, A. Rich, Hurts, Daniel Jones. I would trade, it probably would be Hurts. I would probably trade Hurts. You'll get the most in return for him. All right. Jonathan Brooks, under. Or sorry, no. I said it wrong. Jonathan Brooks, his ADP is 67, so over 62. I apologize. Over 62. Jonathan Brooks over 62 at 67 is his ADP. Sorry about that. Tricking you guys. A little trickster. A little tricky. All right. Let's do our last one here. Last one. Let's go with Zamir White. Zamir White. ADP of 90. ADP of 90. Over or under? ADP of 90 for Zamir White. ADP of 90 for Zamir White. This will be the last one, and then I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into this big nerd score announcement. I'm so excited. So excited for you guys to see this. It's going to be very fun. All right. Mostly overs. Zamir White at an ADP of 90. Mostly overs. Do have a few unders in there. Max said, thanks, man. New subscribers love what the Nerd Herd does. Man, we're trying to get all kinds of stuff going. All kinds of new stuff, all kinds of opportunities to hang out, interact, tools. Man, we're trying to be the one-stop shop for you guys. So I appreciate all of the love. All right, Zamir White's ADP. This one surprised me. Is actually over. It's 93.75. So over the 90 mark for Mr. Zamir White. So who had the highest score? Did anybody not miss one? Did anybody not miss a single one? I think we did 6, I want to say. Said, missed the question, but I'm going with the over. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Yeah, who had the highest score? Who had the highest score overall? I want to say we did 6. We did at least 5 for sure. Maybe it was even 7. Sedated Fork says, I think I missed more than I got right. No worries. Garrett, where is the glasses to represent? I should be wearing glasses. I do have glasses. I very rarely wear them. Here we go. There we go. We've got the glasses on now. Eric went 100%. 100%. There we go. To Equinox, I got 5 or 6 at work, so I missed an answer on one. That's pretty. While multitasking at work is pretty impressive. That's pretty dang good. So let's get into it. I am going to share my screen and give you guys a glimpse into what we have coming up for the future. So, as you see here, see NS Plus wide receiver model. So what we're doing is we are taking the nerd score and we are making it about 60% of the weight, but we're also incorporating draft capital, landing spot and opportunity, production, and college competition level. And you'll see numbers in there. I know those numbers are going to look a little bit confusing. I have a grading scale basically. So for draft capital, if you're in the first round and you're a top 5 pick, you get 100. Top 15 pick, you get a 95. And just a regular first rounder, you get a 90. Then you get an 85 for a first half of the second round, and 80 for the second half of the second round, and on down, all the way down to 40 is somebody that ended up being undrafted. Landing spot opportunity. This is the only one of these that is subjective. So perfect landing spots where we think they're going to get tons of work, or with a great quarterback. We just think that it's a sublime opportunity to score points. And this could still change. Don't quote me on these numbers. These are the only ones that could still be slightly altered as I go over this with Jared and stuff like that. But opportunity landing spot is 10% of the weight. 5% is their college production. More or less did a score for and Jordan. Where can you buy Nerd Herd merch? If you go to the website, we actually have it on the website. You can buy all kinds of stuff there. The production is basically a scale that combines catches, yards, and touchdowns, and spits out a number. And basically the very top tier guys, you could get as high as 100. Now, not every class has 100. They might not have a player that reaches that threshold. So it's not like the number 1 in the class and the number 2 in the class. It's just, did they hit a certain threshold? And that's the score that they get from their best season ever. And then college competition in their final year, go to ESPN.com, look at the strength of schedule. If it was a top 10 team, they had the top 10 hardest schedule, they get 100. 11 through 20, they get a 95, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of gives you a slightly different look. Obviously, with 60% of the weight being on the nerd score, that is still going to give you quite a bit. But as you can see here, there is a little bit of change. So in this class, Xavier Worthy, based on this, would move up 2 spots. Brian Thomas would move up 4 spots. So guys that we might have been a little bit lower on or a little bit higher on, they got good draft capital, good landing spot, things like that, high college production, they're going to move up in this. And these are much closer to an actual rank set than the nerd score. The nerd score, I don't recommend using that as a ranking for drafting. I wouldn't draft off of it. Use that as a tool and part of your evaluation. This, you could more or less draft from. And we even kind of went back, did it with the same formulas for previous seasons. So everyone knows that one of our biggest misses all time, it was our first year ever doing it, and it was Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson in our original nerd score rankings was 7th. Doing this bumps him up to 5th in the class, which is much more reasonable. Obviously, we want him at the top, but we were learning. Our first year doing wide receiver was our worst year of any position of any year that we did, but it kind of helped balance things out and made it a little bit more reasonable. Brought up some guys like Michael Pittman Jr. went up a spot. Denzel Mims dropped 3 spots. So kind of helped out with some guys like that. Brought up Chase Claypool a ton. We did not like Chase Claypool at all. He had one of, if not the lowest score in the class for nerd score. And we also did this with running backs as well. So this isn't just with wide receivers. This is also at the running back position. So it kind of helped balance things out. So we did it for every year. So you can kind of go back and see how much it would have improved or not. And then we also even have an all-time nerd score plus ranking. So you can see our top 5, top 10. So here would be our top 10 all-time nerd score plus ranking. And you can organize it how you want. And we'll make it prettier on the site. This is just a spreadsheet. But Marvin Harrison Jr., Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, CeeDee Lamb, Jameson Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Wilson, and Jalen Waddle would be our top 10 all time. And you can see how much that even changes from if we just did nerd score ranking from A to Z. And Marvin Harrison Jr., Devonta Smith. So he's a little bit higher. CeeDee Lamb's a little bit higher. Jamar Chase drops a little bit. Malik Neighbors, Jalen Waddle. This gets Rashad Bateman outside of our top 10. We were very high on him, and gets Rome Odunze outside of our top 10. So still not perfect. No system is going to be absolutely without flaw. But we do think that this is a nice little post-draft edition that'll be much closer to rankings. So it's going to be, it's going to be a nice little extra tool that we have. Oh, thanks, baby girl. My daughter just poked her head in and wished me happy birthday. So appreciate that. She's a sweetie. We're about out of time, but just wanted to show you guys that. Really, really excited about what this could be for us. Let's see. Ryan said this is very detailed. Yes, this took me a lot of time to go through and manually go look at every player's statistics, add them up from their best college season. And I did this for running back and for wide receiver. So it took a lot of time. So I appreciate it. Faith Family says, great to see how you've come up with the nerd score. It's been really, really accurate, more accurate than Draft Capital, which has been really cool. What percentage is concentrated power? Man, that's a great reference. I'm glad you won the Scott Fishbowl spot. That's pretty great. This is going to be so helpful when it comes to rookie rankings, but we did get Lamb right originally. Absolutely. So it's not nerd score, but combined value for ADP. No, ADP is simply just the average draft position. We do a lot of mock drafts. We have our rankings, but our ADP is simply just from our mock drafts that we do. So yeah, some of you guys wishing me happy birthday. Genuinely appreciate you guys. So hopefully you enjoy this, getting to see just a little something that we're adding to the Nerd Herd, and you'll get to play around with all this data. I just showed you the couple of the classes on the wide receiver side. You'll get to obviously see the running back side if you're a member of the Nerd. If you're not, what are you doing? Join the Nerd Herd. Join the Nerd Herd today. With all this new stuff, there's rumors that eventually we might be raising the price, but we've always grandfathered in anyone that's subscribed before. So some people subscribed to us all the way back in, what would that have been, 2019, 2020? They subscribed all the way back then. Still have the original price. They still getting the original price all these years later. So guys, this has been a super fun show. Loved getting to spend my birthday with you guys, hang out, talk, play games, answer questions, give away a Scott Fishbowl spot, reveal kind of an update with the nerd score. So I have had a ton of fun with you guys. Hopefully you guys have had a good time too. We will be back next week, just like we are every Thursday, no matter what's going on. Shouldn't say no matter what. Every once in a while we might have to cancel. But for the most part, every single week here at noon on the Dynasty lunch break.